quite hungry.
Are we ready, guys?
If we have to.
You don't have to look like this is torture.
Face.
Hello, nerdlings, and welcome to Mini Masters Live episode 8. I have the lovely Critical Hits and Miss with me today. So we'll start off. How would you describe yourselves to people who maybe have not seen your TikToks or your lives before?
Definitely say not serious. A little bit daft. Quirker.
Yeah, we're a bit of an odd couple in many ways, I suppose. Yeah, no, we're quite light-hearted. We don't take anything too seriously. You know, we will. It's nice to have a bit of a mixture. So I find that we have conversations about all sorts of things. I mean, you know, you've been in there and you've heard from, you know, Doggers Wood to to Warhammer. You know, so it's nice to have a bit of a mixture.
Yeah, no, I do think you're very well rounded in that sense. And what are you guys both currently working on, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been working on the same model for about 3 weeks now. I'm still on the Cog Fort.
Very nice.
And I'm working on the floaty boaty boys, as Giant likes to call them.
Yeah, the Caradron Overlords.
So not got very far with them. They are quite cool little models. They're very small and have a lot of detail.
They are very cool little guys.
There's so much detail on them. They are nice, but they're just they feel tiny. I suppose they feel tiny as well after Be'lakor, maybe.
It's almost like they're miniatures.
It is almost like they're miniatures. You do.
Who'd have thought it? And let's go back to your guys' origin story. How have you guys discovered Warhammer? How have you gotten into the hobby?
We got into the hobby like about 15, maybe a bit less, 14 years ago, something like that. I had a friend who sort of got into it and he started painting up some Space Marines and he wanted to play the game and he wanted someone to play it with. And I was like, nah, that sounds a bit nerdy. I'm not in it. But I went round his one day and he was showing me what he'd been doing. I was like, all right, I'll have a look. So I ended up looking on the internet at some stuff. And I bought a box of, it's like a Battle Force box. It was like a Tau Battle Force box where you got like a bit of everything in it. Started painting that. Quickly started to hate painting it. You sort of jumped in there at that point, didn't you, to help me out?
Yeah. Yeah, you just couldn't. Yeah, just not a steady hand. And Adam's very, if he doesn't get something the first time around, you know, at the first go, if he's not good at something straight away, then it's just like, nah.
Yeah, so we've actually got one of the Tau models. I sold the rest of the stuff when we moved because it's such a value, but this had bits missing from it, so I couldn't sell that. It's very basic. Although Deb did some like runes on the side, which if you know Tau, that says for the greater good, which is tagline. But literally, once we'd sort of got that done, my friend moved away, didn't he? So I never actually got round to playing the game. So at that point, you kind of still had a bit of a bug for the painting, didn't you? And
I still enjoyed painting.
I thought maybe we could get into playing it together, so we went into Warhammer Fantasy next. And we bought the starter box there, which was High Elves and Skaven, wasn't it?
Yeah. You had another go at the High Elves,
you wanted the Skaven, so I got the High Elves, and they are not beginner friendly. So again, found that I hated painting, and pretty much stopped there. And then I think obviously that combined with they blew up the old world, and that's when Age of Sigmar got released. And I was looking at all this stuff I just bought and been like, so I can't use any of this stuff now. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, I was confused by the hobby at the point, and then that just blew my mind. So it was like, I'm out. we just left it there.
I don't know really what happened and why we suddenly decided that we were going to go to Warhammer for the day.
Yeah, I'm not sure. About April last year, we just hit a bit of a loose end and wanted something to do. It was like, let's go Warhammer World. So I went there, looked around the exhibition, and by the time we'd seen all like these amazing models, there's so much new stuff since we'd last seen anything as well. Obviously, we got through the exhibition, you come out into the shop, don't you? And we were never going to leave there without buying something. So we got the starter set, like Skaven Stormcast starter set, because we like sci-fi, but we're primarily like fantasy nerds, aren't we? Lord of the Rings is better than Star Wars kind of thing.
Yeah. And anything that has dragons.
Yeah, so we started painting that up, didn't we? And again, for the third time, discovered that I actually hate painting.
Yeah, no, that's true. He decided, he was like, I'm not doing this. I'm no good at this. I can't get these lines straight. My hands aren't steady enough. The light's not good enough. It was just like. So I took over the painting.
Yeah, I think the Stormcast, for me personally, I don't think the Stormcast are a beginner-friendly army. There's too much trim and little bits to do. But yeah, so I very much got into the playing side of things this time round. And found a place about a 45-minute drive away, which I started to go to. But then the hobby became kind of split. You kind of painted my army format, and then I went off at the weekend to play the game. And that was potentially why we kind of dropped. We had other stuff going on, didn't we? From about September, October last year, we had other stuff going on. We had work was doing on the house, but I think that's potentially what dropped us off a little bit.
Well, it took over the dining room. The dining table was always covered in paints and stuff, and then if we wanted people round for anything, then everything had to go away.
And then you get in from work, you want to do an hour painting, you go get it for an hour, you can't be asked.
Yeah.
So that was when, after Christmas, we set up the spare room as a hobby room, so we could have like just a designated painting area. And that's April, I think start of April. That was when I first started posting on TikTok as well, because that was kind of like, right, I'm gonna. If I start posting on TikTok, it's kind of like a bit of accountability, like, because to have something to post on there, you have to paint stuff. So I actually started with a really beginner-friendly army this time. I bought a Nighthaunt box set, and that was the first time I really enjoyed painting. They were so simple, so I was able to just practice real basic techniques, and it kind of started to stick then, didn't it?
Yeah, I think, yeah, and you found speed paints.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that contributed to it, but yeah, primarily just a simpler starting point. I think that was quite important for me. I'm not artistic at all.
I mean, there's a lot of people that disagree with you.
That's why I failed 3 times.
But it sounds like you two are coming from having very different reasons to being in the hobby. Would you say that kind of still stands?
I'd say so, yeah. I definitely enjoy the playing side. Like, the playing side is the big draw for me. I'm at a point now where I really enjoy the painting. But that's kind of because the bits I've done, like each bit I've done now, has given me confidence for the next bit.
Yeah.
But for you, it really is like an artistic outlet, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few games together, and I use that term very loosely because
I get
primarily
told playing for you.
Adam plays himself, and I just move things around. I think that's.
It's not as bad as she makes it sound. I'll just say to her, "Are you sure you want to move that there? Because I've got these guys here." And she'll go, "It's my game."
I do say that, and he'll go, "Oh, okay then," and even if all my guys are gonna, be unalived, I still do it, and I'm really, really
not strategical.
But I'm also, I don't have a drive to win anything.
Oh, I'm super competitive.
He's super competitive, and I'm not the least bit competitive. I am genuinely one of those people that if I say to you, it's all about taking part, I genuinely believe that. I do stuff because I enjoy doing it. I don't care if I win or lose.
I love that. Like, you're coming from almost polar opposite ends of the spectrum.
Basically. I mean, like Deb said, I'm very strategical. I play a lot of strategy games, and Deb's like outside of this, before this, like any craft you can think of, Deb's done it. Like, there's a craft graveyard of stuff that she's done, and then it's been put away.
It's not a graveyard. It's just kind of gone to. It's gone. It's been put to one side at the moment because this is taken over. But yeah, it's that's what it is really. I genuinely, I'm just not a competitive person. I just like to do things because I enjoy them, and if I win, it's a bonus, and if I don't, it doesn't matter.
I love that. What a good outlook on life. That's brilliant. You did touch on a bit there, Crits, about really struggling to get started in, and you've spoken to me a little bit about how that maybe has something to do with a bit of anxiety for you. Can you delve into that a bit more for me?
Yeah, so I struggle massively like with anxiety in like a day-to-day setting. Like the job I do, I've been doing it for 3 years now, and I still have days where I'll go to work anxious that I might not be able to do something, even though I do it day in, day out. And the biggest drawback for me was I would look at a model and be so worried that I'm going to mess it up that actually I didn't want to paint it. The biggest sort of block to get past for me, I think, was probably the Sylvaneth. Like, I did the Tree Lord. That was the first big model I'd done, and I was dreading it. But once I'd done it, I actually like really enjoyed it. But yeah, that's kind of what held me back. I think the first 3 times, every time I started it, because you go on social media, you look at box art, and everything is so perfect, and you look at what you're doing, and you're like, this is shit. You know what I mean?
It's not, but I do understand what you mean of that kind of air of perfection that you see a lot on the internet, which actually most artists don't.
Yeah, and in the cold light of day, you can look at it, and I know like the stuff that I'm anxious or worried about. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter at all. But it's in that moment, like, it takes control. It's like, obviously, I've joked with you about, I bought an airbrush and I've not used it yet. But genuinely, one of the things that holds me back is, I'm worried I'm not going to be good at it. I'm worried that potentially I'm going to damage it or break it. And it's stupid stuff. And I know, but I just have to take my time. Eventually, I'll do it and I'll try and I'll get over that hurdle. It just really, I've got quite a negative, like, naturally got quite a negative outlook on things. I always assume the worst.
Is an overthinker, overthinks everything. Yeah, but what if? Yeah, but what if? Whereas I'm a bit gung-ho, as you probably, many of you realised when it came to Be'lakor's...
Again, no, polar opposites, aren't we?
Yeah, Be'lakor's sword. But in a lot of ways, I think I probably give you more confidence. I'm probably one of your biggest...
We're going back to the job I'm in now. I didn't want to apply for the job because I told myself I couldn't do it. And if you hadn't pushed me to do that, I never would have. And you do with like everything. I think the favourite model I've painted so far is like my black coach. And genuinely, without Deb pushing me to do it, I wouldn't have done it. But I actually enjoyed, like, from start to finish, there wasn't a point of that model I didn't enjoy doing.
That's amazing. Have you come up with any kind of tips and tricks along that journey as well to kind of push you through that? I don't want to.
I suppose I'm trying to change my mindset a bit and just think a bit more along the lines of like, what's the worst that can happen? But it really isn't something that you have any control over. Like, it does. It genuinely, it's over stupid things sometimes as well. Like stuff that really doesn't matter in life, but you get so focused in on it that you make it a big problem, and it really doesn't need to be. I
think the speed paints have helped you a lot because you haven't got to thin anything
worry about
out.
Getting consistency right.
Yeah. So I think
it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Like hacking the hobby for yourself to make it a bit more accessible, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I look back when we started last year. I did paint like one of the Stormcast Liberators that were in that set, and I look at it now and like the paint is so thick, it's textured, like. So to take the speed paints of like
troweling it on,
took that out of it because they're always there and they're always consistent. Like I don't have to worry about getting the right thickness.
And also because they naturally do that multi-tonal where it touches the model, where it's high, it tends to be lighter. Where it goes into the recesses, it's darker. It gives you the speed paints give you that multi-tonal effect with actually, very little. I don't mean you don't put effort in, but
No,
do you know
but
what I
they
mean?
help me know where I
Yeah.
need to then put my highlights and
Yeah.
stuff.
That can actually be really difficult to master.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he knows then he can see where it's light and where then therefore he could make that bit lighter because it's been sort of drawn out to him.
Yeah, very cool. And is that
I just have to exaggerate what the speed paint's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And do you feel like now that you've kind of crossed those hurdles with painting, has it actually supported your anxiety since then a little bit? Getting home, doing a bit of painting in the evening, chilling on a live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I when we started the hobby like last year, I never thought I'd be the kind of person who'd come in after a day at work and want to sit down and spend an hour, 2 hours, sometimes get caught up on TikTok chatting to other people, spend 3 or 4 hours some evenings.
Yeah, he would never have, if I'd have said to him, 12 months ago, here you go, I've bought you this Cogfort,
I'd have left it for Deb to paint.
He'd have been like, I'm not painting that, I can't paint that, you paint it. And I probably would have ended up painting it. But, he's doing an incredible job. And
Really beautiful. 100%. So within all that, is there anything for both of you that if someone could have gone back to your day one of starting this journey to make it a bit easier for you, anything someone could have told you that you wish you'd have known at the start?
Yeah. So when we first started painting, we knew nothing about washes. So we were painting, everything was just
Flat.
almost flat, really. And then we went. I think we'd been out somewhere, maybe down to the local shop, and picked up a wash, and thought, started to paint that, and all of a sudden, it was Skaven actually. It was like, oh wow, and it just transformed.
Suddenly got depth.
Yeah. And, all of those little kind of, the brush strokes that you get, or those little imperfections that you get, all of a sudden they were blurred. It was like some magic liquid, So yes, I would say to anybody starting a bit, new, have a go with washes, find out about them, start off with a simple mid-tone wash or something, to see what it does.
I love that. That's really good advice, because I'm the same boat as you, didn't really know about them at the beginning.
I think for me it'd be the thin your paints thing, because at the start I think that was why I hated painting so much, because everything looked horrible because it was so thick. I didn't. It wasn't until we were quite far into the hobby that I sort of learned that you should be thinning your paints. I thought they were just good to go straight out the bottles, and that would have took out a lot of the problems.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I've seen so many people make those same mistakes. I think you're exactly right there. Nobody tells you thin down your paints. So in terms of being part of the Warhammer community, how have you found that? Because you said you're fairly new to it.
Oh, it's been amazing, and it's been like not what I expected, because when we first started doing it, I thought it was just going to be somewhere a bit like Instagram. You'd post your pictures, you might get a couple of likes or a bit of feedback, people might give you some advice on how to improve, and it's been like complete. Like when we first started posting, I didn't really know much about TikTok. I didn't know TikTok Live was a thing, so that was never sort of in view from the start. And it seemed to grow a lot quicker than I thought it would. At the same time as starting this, we started an Instagram, which I quickly stopped bothering with, because I think we're still at about 11 followers on there, and I've been posting the same videos. And Reddit was another one I spent a lot of time on, but I found the community there was very hit and miss. Like TikTok seems to be just like this massively overly positive Warhammer community, whereas I felt like Reddit seemed to have like a lot of trolls on there. But it's been amazing. We had a message a couple of weeks back from a guy who had been watching the stream with his missus, and he sent a message saying like, you know, we've been watching you two painting tonight. My missus thought it was really cute. I've been trying to get her to do some painting with me for ages. And she's, after watching you guys, she says she'd be willing to give it a go. And then about 2 weeks later, he sent me like some pictures of models they'd been painting together and stuff. And it was like, I hadn't had like a great week at work that week. And then I kind of read that and it was like a real sort of boost.
Oh, that's really beautiful. That's amazing that you've gotten another couple into it. I love that.
Yeah, it was such a nice feeling. And then obviously we've made, I think at the start we didn't realise we'd make such personal connections with people as well, because we've got people who we genuinely classify as like friends, even though, you know, half of them we've never met in the flesh.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. That's really, really amazing. So how did you end up sort of getting into this position where you're doing it as a couple, and what have you found kind of the most beneficial aspects of doing it as a couple?
I mean, we've always done bits and bobs together, but primarily in the past, Adam's, you know, he likes RPGs, you know, and he would be on the PlayStation doing whatever, and I'd be sat at the table. I'd make stuff with beads and wire and crochet and all sorts of stuff.
We'd be together but separate.
Yeah, we'd be together but separate. And this is the one thing that we kind of both have had, you know, a connection with. But then since we sorted this room out, it's just actually really nice to just be sat and have and be able to have a conversation and to be sharing something rather than parallel to each other. You know, because that's what it was. We were both doing our own thing. We were together and we'd, you know, but this is different. This is much.
This is more of an interactive hobby for us, isn't it? Like it tends to trigger a lot of conversations together.
Yeah.
We ask each other's opinions on stuff, or like we might ask each other what colour do you think would work well here, or
you don't take my advice.
No, I'll often ask Deb what she thinks.
She does,
and then I'll just do what I was going to do anyway. We send each other bits and bobs like reels or memes or TikToks, you know, while we're at work, of ideas that come up. So it's been really good from like a connection point of view, hasn't it? Yeah. I mean, there's very little, if anything, on the models that Adam's painted that has been an influence from me. Because I can say to him sometimes, oh, well, you could do so and so, and he just goes, yeah. Yes. In other words, don't tell me how to paint my model. Sometimes I'll use you as a sounding board, really.
He does, yeah. Usually it's just like he's working it out in his head. He doesn't really want my advice, doesn't really want me to have an input or tell him what I think. So, but I do it anyway.
Just humour me.
I love that. So there's not necessarily much collaborative works at the minute, but is that something you guys might do in the future?
I suppose.
We've not really crossed over much, have we? The early Stormcast stuff, I think there's very few bits I did, mostly you, and the rest of it since I've kind of done the Nighthaunt, the Sylvaneth, and now the Cities. You've done Skaven, Caradhras. We kind of have our own.
I think for me personally, so as much as I'm like a glass half full kind of girl, and I'm quite gung ho with things, I'm also a bit. I'm also a little bit precious at times. So I think if we were painting an army between us, and you know, I don't know, he didn't quite do something how I was doing it, or he changed the colour on a backpack that I was doing, I'd have to wait until he was out the room and repaint it, quite frankly. So it's probably, you know, we're quite happy to do our own separate things, and then but still have that collaborative kind of.
Well, also as well, I like
still
to
feel like we're doing stuff together.
I like to go to like a lot of tournaments and stuff. Like they're friendly tournaments, nothing too serious. But I like to be able to turn up and people go, oh, "Wow, that was amazing!" And I like to be able to say, "Actually, I painted that." Because when I had like my Stormcast, I kind of turned up there and I'm like, "Oh my god, that dragon's amazing!" I'm like, "Yeah, my wife painted it." You know, it's just a much nicer feeling to. Not that I'm not sort of proud. It kind of eliminates you because I wouldn't then. They'd have like a friendly like painting competition then kind of as well, and I wouldn't enter it because it just wouldn't be. It's not fair. It's not my work, you know. So if everyone else there has painted their models, and I've got these amazing models that Deb's painted, it's not. I feel like a cheat if I won.
Give me the award.
Yeah, you have to win the games though.
Yeah, that pride of I've done this. This is my work, sort of thing.
Yeah, and you can genuinely do that with those other armies that is painted. Sure.
And just to take a little sidestep here, Deb, in terms of your experiences of kind of being a woman within the hobby, how would you? Because you've had the experience from kind of 15 years ago to now. How would you say those compare, and what have your experiences been?
Yeah, I mean, 15 years ago when we went to Warhammer World, and particularly local, when we had a shop in an old warehouse in Leicester that did tabletop gaming, and they sold Warhammer and all the paints and everything. And if I walked into there, I was the only woman, and everybody would stop doing what they were doing, and it was like, "Ooh, woman." It was a bit weird. It did make me feel like I was, walking around with a big giant hamburger head or something. And the same to a degree in the local small Warhammer shop. You would go, we walked in there and it was all blokes, and they would literally like, "Oh, now not had that at all." We went to Warhammer. Obviously, there's lots of staff there that are women. There's lots of women walking around. We went to a tournament there, and although on the tournament evening, I have to say, it's still man heavy. It's still primarily males.
Felt like a different vibe,
it
though,
does
didn't
it does
Like-
feel different. Yeah, there's it's not doesn't feel so like you're an interloper. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, because if you're looking back on 15 years ago, did you kind of almost feel a bit out of place at times? Things, yeah,
absolutely. I just felt awkward. Didn't stop me, because that's not in my nature. But I think it would have put a lot of girls off. Maybe that hadn't got my years or my confidence and resilience. I think that there would have been a lot of girls put off taking up Warhammer either as a game or as a painter, or just in general. I think for sure.
How have you found it, kind of like the online experience versus in-person experience? Because obviously the internet's a very much bigger place.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, there's a lot of women on here that are either painters or players or both, or have got partners that are, and so and I mean, there are some people that we've had in our stream and what have you that are not even connected to Warhammer, and they don't really play it, but they've kind of like they're coming in just to see what it's all about. I'm not sure that certainly from my perspective that I'm the best person for somebody to find all about Warhammer, but it's I think it's the light-hearted approach that maybe people enjoy. I think
100%. I think that's why a lot of people enjoy your company, sort of thing. You're very kind of happy people. But yeah, no, it's I myself have noticed a big difference kind of in person. There seems to be this very big community of us girls too.
and there's actually on FB, there is a Women of Warhammer.
Oh, that's amazing! You need to.
So if you're on FB, have a look for that. It's women of Warhammer, or women who paint Warhammer. I'll have a look, and I'll send you a little link. But yeah, so I think it's definitely, I think there's just over 1,000 women on there. So it's definitely growing. It's definitely, you know, yeah, got more of a female vibe now. I've really lost sound.
Oh, sorry, Deeks, can't hear you. Let me shut this window because there's an ice cream man then comes down. Let's try that. Sorry about that.
You can't hear yourself?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
better.
Kinda. It's quiet.
Oh, that's odd. How is it in the comments, guys?
There you go. That's better.
Yeah, all good. Fantastic. Cool. So kind of moving on, you kind of both use a bit of a mixture of speed paint and acrylics, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't use much speed paint, do you?
I don't use as much as
slightly.
you, but I do. Yeah.
And how do you kind of find them in comparison to each other? And like, what do you think they do particularly well? What draws you to them so much?
We're very different though when it comes to painting, aren't we? Like,
Yeah.
very different. I'll primarily use speed paint as like my base layer, and then I'll use normal acrylics as like my highlight, and then obviously washes as well on top.
Yeah.
Whereas you,
I go the other way.
Acrylics, aren't you?
I go the other way a bit, but what I have started to do, well, I've been doing for a good while now, is because I wasn't, is thinning the paints down.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinning the paints down for a long time. I mean, I wasn't getting that thick, heavy look that Adam was getting, because I was keeping it light, but I wasn't thinning them down. I do thin them down now, but what I like about the acrylics is the coverage. You get good coverage because, you know, the speed paints, that can be a little bit translucent, and especially if you're going over something that's dark, you know, a dark undercoat, then, you know,
To use speed paints well though, you have to do a lot of prep
dry
work
brushing and stuff.
before
Yeah,
you can use them really.
yeah, they're just used very differently. But I use all sorts. I use pens as well. I know they're frowned upon by some people, and it's like, oh, but I do. I use acrylic pens, and I think if you've not got a steady hand, and there is like, you know, like say for instance on a shield where you might have a little raised bit in the middle, if I find that if I use an acrylic pen, especially if they've got both ends, the brush end and the more solid end, I can literally not get anything anywhere other than where I want it, like on that top line, or do you know what I mean?
I like that a lot. Which brand of not speed paint, sorry, paint pens do you use?
Oh, I've got all sorts. I've got a couple of AK ones, and I did buy some.
Your main set's like a cheap set, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. My main set is a cheap set.
They're great for edge highlights too.
I bought some speed paint ones, the army painter ones, and then I have got a set of.
They're kind of just pens rather than miniature specific.
Yeah, they're just acrylic paint pens, and they're off here. I wouldn't paint everything in them, but they're just useful to have. There's so many. You have to keep them flat, otherwise they flood. So you have to store them flat. You can't store these standing up.
Oh, beautiful colour selection.
But there's loads of colours in there, and yeah, they're just useful for, you know, for just little tool, bits and pieces. They? Just another tool, yeah, absolutely. So I use all sorts.
I spoke a bit there as well about how your practice is very different. You have different methods. Can you both talk me through your different kind of preps for your goals?
So you don't really have much prep, but for me, I will prime a model black, and then I will use a dark grey, like the Citadel Mechanicus standard grey, and I'll do a heavy dry brush all over, that's all dark grey. I'll then do a lighter dry brush with like a like a celestial kind of grey, like a lighter grey, which will then bring it up so it's more like that. And then a very light brush of white over the top, just to try and catch the raised edges. And then I'll sort of go to town with the speed paint.
Yeah, and that kind of makes that natural gradient. And then you just kind of like a prime and done then, Dem?
Yeah, pretty much. But Adam's a real planner as well. He'll sit and think about the colours that he wants the army to be, and where he wants things to go, and and he'll study the model first, and he'll go, oh, that's wood, and that's Whereas I'm a fly by the seat of your pants kind of gal, which is my life really, in a lot of ways. But so I have a tendency to, I often don't know what colour I'm going to use until I'm sat in front of it. And as I'm working, I think, what colour would go well with that then now? Do you know what I mean? So mine's a lot more organic and a lot less prescriptive.
Well, some nights if I've got a new model, I'll literally sit there and stare at it for an hour just thinking of colours.
The pre-planner, and the model will tell me how it wants to be painted.
Basically, and I enjoy like finding things. That's what I enjoy. It's almost a bit like Where's Wally. So I'll get a model, and then I'll look at it and I think, oh, that's a cog, or oh, he's got a whatever. So I quite like that. I like to the surprise and finding things and
covering it. That's really cool. So what are kind of the 3 hobby tools then that you both couldn't live without, do you think?
No, mine. Simple one, hobby knife. Just like couldn't live without. I mean, when we first started, that was one of the things I did wrong. Not clean up like mould lines or bits of sprue where you clipped it off. You'd think you'd got it like enough of it off, but obviously once you put paint on it, it just highlights that imperfection, doesn't it? The other one is my priming stick. Couldn't live without that. You can get 10 models on there at a time, prime them all up, spin them around. You can get them from top, from the bottom. Priming used to be a nightmare. I'd either stand them up on the table and then the force of the aerosol would knock them over, or I'd have to stand each one individually up in like blue tack, which took so much time. So that cut a lot of the faff out. I don't know what my third one would be though.
Well, you've got your new.
Oh, actually, yeah, the paint stand. I've got quite unstable hands. I work with like impact tools all day, so I get shaky hands quite a lot. So I've got one of them golden maple stands, which allows you to, like, you can balance your hand. It takes that problem out for me. But they're my 3.
Yeah. I struggled with this one, to be fair, because I was thinking, I don't know if I've got 3 that I can, that I couldn't like really live without. But I've got, what did I say originally? No, I know about. So these bad boys, these are just so attractive. So I bought a light with a magnifier on it, which is great, but I find if I don't get that quite at the right angle, then I feel a bit, and my depth perception is off. It's a bit like working backwards in a mirror almost. It was kind of a bit disorientating. So I bought these. These were from the rainforest, and they weren't very expensive. And they do light up when I charge them, but they're not lit up now. And I find that I can just take my glasses off and use these, and I can see all the fine detail. And so definitely these. The only downside to these, I don't find them overly comfortable on the bridge of my nose. So I think they've got quite a lot of weight to them. But they do have a band as well, so you can put the band on if you wanted to ruin your hair, but I don't. So yeah. So I've got those. so those, is that my first one?
Yeah, well, you said good lighting as well.
Oh yeah, good lighting, definitely good lighting. And we could do with another lamp like the one that we bought the
Yeah.
first time, because that is a good light.
It's really bright.
I bought another one from TikTok shop, which, to be fair, is okay. It's not horrendous. It's just not quite
It's
as
not got the
bright.
coverage, has it, that this one's got?
Yeah. And then a weird one is these.
Ooh,
So
tools.
I use these for, I mean, you know, you can use them for clay work and stuff, but I used to use these and do use them for quilling. So like as a quilling ball, if you're making little round shapes and things, so you'd roll your paper up and then you'd push this in the center and, you know, wiggle it round. But I was struggling to do tiny circles like for eyes and things. So I was thinking, you know, what can I use? I tried a pin, that wasn't working. And then I thought, oh, I know what I've got. I've got my quilling tools. So I got my quilling tools out, and I love these, and I do all sorts of things with them now. If something needs a nice circular dot on them, these are my go-to. And I've got various sizes. I've got some really tiny ones. Let me find.
No. They're on the desk of chaos.
On the desk of chaos, yeah. So that one's a bit bigger. I don't know if you can see the head on that one. And then they go like really small.
Yeah.
But when you just want a perfect dot of paint,
So if you
great,
just
aren't
want a perfectly round dot of paint, you know, and the thing with these is because they're curved like a ball, the paint sits on the end and then the outside of it curls away from whatever it is that you're working on. So you can pretty much get a perfect circle dot every time. And because these are different sizes, you can choose the one that you want for the eye, and then you can choose the one that you want for the pupil.
Yeah, that's a brilliant hack. I've not heard that one before.
So I use these. I've got some bigger ones as well, and that is how I did the eyes on the moon shrine and moon shrine. Because did you see how circular they were?
Yeah, beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
And then the little black dot, and then the little white dot. So the blue was done with a bigger one of these, and then the white and the black. So that's what I did, and I've done that with smaller models. So these are my favourite little weird gadgets.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I need to go get some now. That was a really amazing hack. I love that. I'm a bit dumbfounded by that. You've thrown me off. That's amazing.
I did all the little dots on the toadstools and the mushrooms and everything.
Yeah, all them.
I just did all of those. Because the moment that I try and do that with a paintbrush and the paintbrush just goes a little bit, and I've not got a circle, it's like, and I use them on the squigs. Show you a squig.
This has blown my mind. I'm trying to find my next question and I can't even think. I'm so interested.
Can you see the little dots on the squigs?
Tiny dots.
I don't know if you can see them.
I think we all
But I did the same on the squigs, so I literally just dotted them. And then if I want them to be long, I'll dot and drag.
Oh yeah, and then it's kind of almost like a teardrop shape.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Really, I'm getting some of those. Really, really like the hack. So, I mean, that may be your answer to my next question, because my next question is, what's helped you improve your painting the most?
I think for me, I tend to think outside the box.
Yeah.
So I do that a lot. I'm good at problem solving as a rule. So, you know, I will work things out. And I will use anything that I've got around the house, you know, if I and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think for you it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, well, obviously we've already said about the speed paints. That takes
Mm.
out the worry of, you know, the thickness of your paints. But
Your
one of
wet
the
palette.
things that's helped me the most is probably these golden maple brushes, because they're almost like handwriting pens that you get at school. They encourage your grip to be correct. You know, I'm definitely more of like the kid who sort of paint like that. No, I'd hold it very, very tight and very like. Whereas I paint a lot more fluid since I've switched to them.
You didn't start with though, did you?
No.
Because you was kind of a bit confused, and I said to you,
Yeah, they felt
it's
uncomfortable to
it's
start
because of the way you hold your pen, and he was like, "What do you mean the way I hold my pen?" And I said to him, "Well, you don't hold your pen in a tripod grip, but
with. No, I don't.
you've got I know, but you've got paintbrushes that are forcing you to have a tripod grip." So you know it took a while, but that's definitely given you
Yeah,
a better,
for more natural
more
grip.
control.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really good hack actually, because I know a lot of people write in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways, don't they? So kind of
Yeah, I know.
brain
Yeah.
hits the brain. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and once you've learnt that, you can't unlearn it. You know, years of once you've had your formative writing,
It's
you know,
ingrained
style,
at that point,
it's
isn't it?
ingrained. But those paintbrushes, because they have that shape, they just naturally make you do that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, we've got one more question before our speed round. So my last question to you is: if someone was watching this live, thinking they wanted to get into into Warhammer and didn't know where to start, didn't know what to do, what would be your advice to them?
Take out a loan. It is, without a doubt, the most expensive hobby I think you can have. I mean, as a hobby, it can be as expensive as you want it to be. But we're quiet. We like our gadgets. You know, like if we want a couple of paints from a set, we'll probably just buy the set. You know, we'll see a model we like, and it's like, oh, you know, need to get that. Even if we're already on a project, it's like, oh, well, I'll do that after. And you know, I think a lot of people in this hobby are like that.
Yeah.
And even if you're not, it's still not cheap.
Yeah, I think part of the fun of this hobby is not just the painting and the playing; it's the ownership. So even if you're not ready to paint it, if you've bought it and you've got it on a shelf, it's just like satisfying, you know, to just have it and know that it's there and that actually I can do that next if I want to or what have you. You know, I think for somebody new, I think I would tell them to go to their local Warhammer shop, have a little session, either sit in and, you know, build your model of the month and paint it there and talk to the staff and find out if it's really for you, because you won't know until you know. And actually don't be put off, because even if you go and do model of the month and you paint it and you think, oh my God, I'm rubbish, go back the following month and see if you come at it differently from the first time you went in, because you absolutely will.
I think that kind of is like, on a more serious note. Obviously, I said about it being expensive. Hobby. For me, my advice would be: if you're getting into hobby, don't compare yourself. I think that's what stole a lot of the joy for me. Was like you'd see all these amazing models, which people, you know, there's people on there who've been painting 30+ years, and you know you're comparing your model to that, and you just want to compare a model you've painted to a model you painted a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. You know, that's the main thing, I think.
I agree with you. Really, really lovely. Thank you very much, guys. Are you ready for the speed round questions?
How's this going to go then?
I'll fight you.
I think,
Do we have to buzz in?
I mean, because so that everyone knows, I never actually tell the guests the speed round questions beforehand. These are genuinely like first responses. So I think you can answer them one at a time, probably. But if you feel the need to shout out, I encourage that too.
Quick round then. Quick fire round.
First question: who's more likely to sleep on the sofa? Favorite couple's day out?
Oh, we've done go ape a couple of times, haven't we?
Yeah. So the easy one there's Warhammer World. We've done
Warhammer
that,
World,
haven't we?
yeah. But yeah, we've done Go Ape a couple of times, so that was good.
Very nice. Who's the boss in the kitchen? Love that. Who's the first one at the desk?
Ooh, probably you.
Well, it depends.
But you tend to get in earlier. Or if I've been out anywhere, I'll come back and this is where I'll find you. But then I
Yeah.
think the same vice versa though, as well.
Yeah, it depends on who gets in first
Yeah.
or who goes out last. Is the answer?
It wouldn't have been before though.
No, it wouldn't have been. Before it would have
always
been.
been
It would
there.
have been me, and he'd have been just like,
Playing FIFA.
yeah.
Your last one is your favourite bit and your biggest pet peeve about each other.
Ooh, favourite bit's the odd one. My favourite bit about Deb is like not even just in this hobby and life in general. Like she's like my biggest kind of cheerleader. She's the one who like makes me believe I can do anything. Or I have a lot of self doubt, and Deb's always the one telling me that like, nah, shut up, you can do it.
Very sweet.
My favourite bit about Adam is he's easygoing. He doesn't care if I don't want to do something. If I know that sounds weird. That might sound weird. But I was in a marriage before where I couldn't relax, and where everything had to be very done in a very specific way, and all jobs had to be done, and I couldn't just sit down and relax, whereas Adam really doesn't care. So if he comes in from work and I go, oh, I can't be bothered to cook tonight, babe, he'll just go, well, all right then, let's have pizza, or so for me it's how easygoing he is, and also, despite his jibes on here, he's a real softer, and he is super romantic.
Oh, I love that. So
I
cute.
believe that.
You can do your pet peeves now if you want.
I struggle with a pet peeve. I know what yours would be.
Do you?
Yeah, I think yours would be like my humour.
So everything's a joke to Adam.
So when we first got together, one of the things that Deb said she loved about me was my sense of humour. And now she says, everything's a joke to you. You're always laughing like a moron.
But that's because when we first got together, the things that he made jokes about were just, general jokey things, and that was okay. But when I'm now trying to have a serious conversation with him about life, and a joke comes out, there are times when I just think, oh,
It's a coping mechanism.
It is, and I know that, but sometimes I could still, kick you in the nuts.
I actually genuinely struggle to pick a pet peeve for you.
Aww.
I know you've said that
nothing
before.
comes to the top of my head. Like there's nothing like obviously we've been a quick fire round. There's nothing where you think, oh, this always annoys me. I genuinely can't think of one. A work trait's probably a short fuse. If I had to pick a negative trait, but even that, it's not a peeve. It's just who she is.
Yeah, I am 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds, but then I will make you a cup of tea.
Oh, I love that. You're a woman after my own heart, Deb. You really are. Oh, thank you guys so much for answering all those questions. That was a very good speed round. I very much appreciate it.
It wasn't much of a speedy round though, was it?
I like it when you go on tangents. So I will open up comments, questions now as well, guys. So if you do have questions, please do rein them in. And thank you everyone who has sent gifts, like the live, everything like that. Please don't think me rude if I don't thank you at the time. We'll just kind of keep it on track until here. Good save from the doghouse, critical, says Kirk.
16 years experience, you don't get caught out that easy.
What's something that annoys you about the other within the hobby?
Within the hobby. It's annoying how good she is. It's annoying that everything she does is like, I look at it and just go, I hope I can paint like that one day. Oh, and cutting hands off, that's annoying.
Oh yeah, cutting hands.
Did you hear the whole debacle with Be'lakor? Deb hated his flame sword, so she got an electric nail file out, tried stripping the paint off of an electric nail file, got angry at it, chopped his hand off, and then the next thing I hear is the kettle boiling and her trying to scrub the paint off.
Oh no. I
So
mean,
the thing was though, he was all fully painted, and so I was worried that if I took him into the kitchen and started trying to scrub his sword, that I'd cause a problem. So I thought the easiest thing to do is to just
Isolate it.
isolate it. So I just chopped it off.
I mean, it looks beautiful anyway. Alpha asks, who are your favourite YouTubers for miniatures?
Ooh, we're not really big on YouTubers, are we? I know there's a guy on FB and TikTok, and I can't remember what his name is. I'm assuming he's got a YouTube as well. And without seeing his name, I wouldn't remember. He's an older man, got a very big following. Can't remember his name at all now.
Do you know what I struggle with? I won't
But
lie.
you don't
So
really watch YouTube, do you?
no, not an awful lot, but I get that people want to make money or earn a living. We all need to do that, but I get really frustrated sometimes when if you want to learn this, then you have to pay, subscribe to my channel,
Patreon.
be a Patreon, and I just think, and because that's not natural for me. That's the other thing with me, is that I'm a bit of a
Find it yourself, kind of work it out.
yeah, and but also for other people, I'm happy to give you what I can if it helps you. So I get a bit frustrated sometimes.
I do have a good answer, actually. Thinking about it, there's one YouTuber I know. It's one of your past guests, Dad Hammer. I love watching his videos. They are incredibly cool, informative, and funny.
And I've been watching your dad's. Your dad does.
That does do YouTube, yes.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to follow Attilia Miniatures, thank you very much, Wolfpack, for the ice coffees. If anyone wants to follow Attilia Miniatures, they are also on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, and his, it's just really, really clear and really, and he doesn't get so far and then go, and if you want to know the rest.
Yeah, that kind of like baiting thing. Yeah, because I've heard of people doing kind of like more in-depth lessons on Patreon where it's just a very long, like almost like a course, which I think is more understandable. But I do get what you mean, like the
Do you know what I mean?
30 seconds, let's stop, now you have to pay for the rest sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Wolfpack asks where your chairs are from.
Everybody asks that.
I think Wolfpack's taking the mic. He's been in about 10 times when we've said that.
Mighty Paints Warhammer asks, question for Mr. Crit, are we still meeting at Bummerswood at 10 p.m?
I was there at 6, but you didn't turn up.
Oh, I love that. Ooh.
Packed in a kit bag as well.
Giant asks, have you sorted the airbrush? When will we see you?
Yeah, so we have had, I've told you, we've had a trial run with it. So, yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is,
Did you say we?
well, yeah, we're a team.
Yeah, but I've not touched it.
No, you won't either. No, we've got the Armageddon box coming tomorrow, hopefully. I want to build up the Space Marines, and I'm going to to start with, I'll just practice with like base coating. I've got some Vallejo True Metallic metals. I've got a nice red, I think, that will look good on them. So that'll be the starting point, and we'll see where we go from there.
And if you get anxious, we can airbrush together, Crit. Just let me know. Attilia says, do you find that one of you painting encourages the other to start painting?
I think sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there'll be times where I think you come in, you're a bit tired in CBA.
Yeah.
I'll be sat down painting, you think, oh, well, I'll just do an hour, and vice versa.
I'm often tired. I've got autoimmune, so there's a lot of days when I'm absolutely, I'm dragging myself, and I'll get in and I just think to myself, oh, I'm too tired for that, and then I think, oh, I'll just go and sit with him for an hour, and then I think,
Bitter.
yeah, A pity paint, yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. It's pity paint. That's what it is. And then I just think, oh, okay, I'll do a bit of painting, and then usually, I get my second wind a little bit, maybe.
And once you
Maybe.
started swimming, you kind of have to get to a checkpoint before you can stop as well. So that 15 minutes easily becomes an hour. And if you jump on a live and like you're talking to people, there's a good bit of chat going on. Before you know it, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah. 100% agree with you. 100%.
Yeah. This is definitely these chats and getting and doing TikTok lives with people. They are time bandits. It just robs you of your time. It's like, we got to go bed.
If I hadn't been on live, I do think this cogfault would have been done by now.
See,
There's times where I just catch myself talking and not painting at all for like an hour at a time.
Love that. See, I'm almost the opposite, because if I'm like just painting by myself, I'll be like, oh, I'll go make myself a cup of tea. Oh, I'll go have a snack. I'll go do this. I'll go do that. So it's really interesting that you say that. Alpha asked, what's your favourite YouTubers for tutorials? I don't know if you really do YouTubers or not.
No, like I say, YouTube's not a big thing. I have really enjoyed Dad Hammer's tutorials. He did one the other day where he was talking about like freehand tattoos, and he painted some pants on an orc. I think he did one on orc flesh as well. They were all really good, really interesting.
Yeah, I would say Dad Hammer and Atelier are two very good tutorials. I have to shout out Atelier.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's my go-to. That's my go-to. And I'll flick through here, and I saw something. I think it was on Sunday. Your dad was going to do something on Sunday, I think it was, and I had to go out, and I said to Adam, "Oh, I think I've missed it," but then I managed to catch him a bit later on. I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I didn't miss it then." So yeah, definitely.
Gizzy asks if she can be your adopted daughter.
Who's that?
Gizzy.
Gizzy. Oh, it's a very long way, Gizzy.
A Giant says Wolfpack, Deb and Hams.
Yes.
Yeah.
The chairs. And Wolfpack knows.
Oh, I get you now. I understand. Yes. Kirk says, do you think Warhammer has brought you closer together?
No. No, because we've always been.
I don't think it's brought us close together. It's brought us. Well, I suppose it has, like in terms of our hobbies. Because, like I say, if I was gaming and Deb was crocheting, we'd be together. We'd still chat and stuff, but we'd be together but separate. Whereas, like I say, here we're doing something at the same time, and we're talking about the thing we're doing. If I started talking to Deb, if I said to Deb, "Oh, watch this goal I've just scored on FIFA," she wouldn't care.
Yeah, yeah.
And if she told me about this really complicated stitch she'd just done in crochet, I would not care. Whereas here, like if she goes, "Oh, I've just tried this. Have a look. What do you think?" Like we both kind of get excited. So it has, in a way. I wouldn't say it's necessarily strengthened like our emotional relationship, but it has strengthened a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a difference between kind of like parallel playing and
yeah, exactly. That's what we were doing before. Whereas now it is a I suppose we're connected through it, if that makes sense.
Oh, definitely. I like that a lot. And again, Sarah says I paint and hope for the best.
That's my approach. That is literally what I do.
KB says that he's currently on holiday, but he had to jump in to say he adores you both and loves your lives.
Thank you, Katie. Hope you're having a good holiday, ma'am.
All the equipment, water run, actual wet run. Oh, what are we on about there, John?
I bet that's about the airbrush.
Yeah.
The water run.
Oh, the water run.
Back. Yeah, water run. Yeah, I bet you're right. Yeah. Oh, I love that. What tutorials would you like to see? Asks Attilia.
Oh, flesh.
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 They do have some flesh.
Yeah, flesh and fire.
Flesh and fire.
Yeah, it's that. It's that. Yeah, it's the blend. It's that seamless blending.
Yeah, that harsh transition.
Yeah, that's what I get frustrated with. And also, I think sometimes I see other people and I think, oh, they've like used about 2 colours. I think sometimes I overcomplicate things. sometimes I think, oh, fire, it's got to have yellow, orange, white, a bit of black, a bit of smoky grey. do you know what I mean? And maybe I just need to just, you know, go a bit simpler.
Well, there you go, Dad. Make some tutorials on fire and flesh. Add your extra ones on flesh. Girly Sarah asks, can I have a cup of tea?
I make good tea.
She does.
Super Dude says thank you both for your support as well.
I hope you're feeling all right today, man.
He's welcome, more than welcome. It was the day. It was really surreal for us, because although like we've not been on TikTok very long and not known people for very long, I won something in the competition, and then we met at the games.
Mrs. Details was there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
But other people weren't.
Sorry, I thought you were explaining it to Mrs.
I'm
Details.
not explaining it to Details. I'm explaining it to the peoples.
There's other people.
Yeah. And then we went to the Games Expo, obviously, and we and he delivered it to us in person. And yes, Details, you were there, and Kirk was there, and it was really lovely. And then he gave us that news, like, you know, it was very shortly afterwards, and it was just like, what?
It was already a really emotional video to watch, but the fact that like we'd actually sort of met him in person at that point just kind of really
and the problem
hammered it home a lot
more.
more.
I suppose the problem is that, like, not, you know, I mean, hopefully it'll all, you know, he will do all right with all of this, and you know, and I know it's easy to say, you know, be positive and everything, and I think that again is an easy thing for people to say, but I think it was because we'd seen him, we'd had a laugh and a joke. As far as we were aware, he was well and everything was absolutely fine, and then all of a sudden it wasn't fine, and he wasn't actually well, and you know, so it was a real shock, really. So and he has been in our minds, and we have messaged him, and you know,
part of this community, isn't it? We're all very much a bit of a put together family in a way, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, guys. I will give a couple more minutes, just if anyone else wants to ask any questions, please use this time to ask them. But you guys have been absolutely amazing on Mini Masters.
It's not been as bad as I thought it'd be.
I'm glad. It was going to be my next question for you, because I hope you feel a little bit.
No, you're right. I'm relieved that like we're at the end now, but it's not been as bad as I thought it'd be.
Oh, there you go. There's our last question, I think. Do you prefer myself or the missus? Critical answer wisely. This is from Grey Knight Kirk.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Does there have to be one definitive winner? Can I not love them both equally?
Oh, see, he's got enough love to go round.
There you go. Both. And yes, I've kind of been quite close to Super through all of this, and yeah, we all love it. We all absolutely adore Critical Hits in this. It's not tough at all. Or are we going to push, or are we going to accept both of you? Thanks for the follow, Leech Games.
But on another note as well, you know, going back to that whole community thing, you know, thank you to everybody that has supported us, and you know, we have met and have chats on, you know, through the inbox and stuff with other people. Giant Dwarf, as you know, he is just such a lovely and very funny guy. I love being in lives with him. You know,
we've got our regulars that sort of turn up every time we go live and check in how we're doing, let us know how they're doing. And
so we'd like to say, you know, thank you to everybody for that, for coming in and you know, and just joining us on our I don't even know if it's a journey now. It's just a playing.
Love it. And Kirk does say he'll rub your feet if you say him.
Oh, it's Kurt.
You
Actually,
don't like your
I hate
feet.
having my feet rubbed, so it's Sarah.
Kurt.
Sorry, Kurt. You went the wrong way there, bud. That's on you.
Kurt, if you're a foot rubber or have got a thing about
I hate having
feet,
my feet touched.
I'm your woman because he will not rub my feet.
Rancid.
Yeah.
Smelly little cheesy what's-it feet.
No, they're not smelly little cheesy what's-it feet. Even when I'm straight out the bath, he would never give me a foot rub. It's just
But
like,
Deb does this thing. If I'm laying on the settee, she'll walk past and she'll tickle the bottom, or just rub her finger along the bottom of my foot. And I want to kick her in the face. It annoys me that much.
oh, you see, in the quick fire round, you couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah, there you are.
Well,
There it is.
are.
Touching
See,
my
there
feet.
is something. He's a big Billy liar.
I love it so much. Thank you guys so much for coming, and you are amazing creators. I'm so glad to have met you, and thank you.
You too, and thanks for having us,
It's been a
and
pleasure.
thanks to everybody else.
Thank you everyone for coming. Lots of love to you all. I will see you all next week for our next guest. This guest knows who they are. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.